Hello. Sheet 71, Mr. Gazda here. Do some coloring. This is off the reference table. This is off the reference table. What this is a difficult thing for a lot of kids. So let me try to explain what this is. Okay. So this is Earth, and it shows wind patterns. Now, wind on the surface. Okay, how winds blow in the surface, direction of winds, is shown here. In this general area between 60 degrees north and 30 degrees north, the winds generally blow from the southwest to the northeast. They're called southwest. In this area, the surface winds blow like this. So if you're living on Earth, that area, the winds blow from the northeast. Here, they're from the southeast. Winds kind of generally blow this way. Winds and weather move this way. And here, they're out of the northwest, etc. So that's on the surface of the Earth, how generally winds push. Now, all of this stuff out here, these arrows, this show how air moves high up into the atmosphere. Okay, so here what you see is at the equator, air is rising, and this is rising, up to, 10 miles, 20 miles up or more, and then it moves this way, and then this area you see the air is sinking. See how the arrows go? So if you're right here, the air is sinking. Okay. So this is up over the surface, and this is on the surface. I think that drives people crazy. So let's see some of the things here. Make sure you're learning this, understanding this. Number one, color the two main dry belts on Earth. Blue. So I have some blue here. Two dry belts on Earth. Two main dry belts, and that is here and here. See where it says dry? That whole area is pretty dry. Color them blue. It's not really about coloring, so I'm not going crazy with the coloring. But just something like that, it just helps you interact with the diagram here. Two, now look at the arrows that show how the air moves above Earth's surface in the troposphere. In the troposphere, if you remember from Earth Science Reference Table, page 14. How is the air moving at these two dry areas? Is it rising, sinking, or neither rising nor sinking? Here's the dry areas here. How do I look? I have to look either here, here, and here for this dry area. It's the only place that's shown. And here and here. Okay? Well, right here, what's the air doing? Look at the arrows. It's coming down. Right here, what's the arrows doing? The air is going down. So if you're standing right there, it's going down, going down. Answer is sinking. Okay, now what you want to do is get the letter for your last name. Find the number that matches up to it. Okay, do that now. And then you're going to write that number on the front of the page. So for instance, my last name starts with a G, number 39. I would go to my sheet like this, and I write that number right here, and I circle it. Please do that now. Three, wind is named for the direction from which it comes. Color over the arrows of all these southwesterly winds with red. Arrows of all these southwesterly winds. So it comes out of the southwest. Color over the arrows with red. Here we go. So again, southwest winds comes from the southwest towards the northeast. And that's the only southwest wind we see here. Four, wind is named for the direction from which it comes. Color over the arrows of all the northeasterly winds with green. What am I doing? Northeasterly winds with green. And there's a little northeasterly winds here. Little of that. Okay. 5. Color the three wet belts with yellow. Yellow. Well, where does it say wet? Wet is at the equator, and wet is around 60 degrees north and 60 degrees south. So yellow does not show up that great. Yeah, yellow doesn't show up that great, but these are the areas where it's wet. Please note, I will point wherever the air is rising. Right here, the air is rising. Here's air is rising. Here's air rising. It will be wet, and where the air is sinking, it's going to be dry. That's an important concept here that we'll get to later on. 6. Look at the arrows that show how air moves above Earth's surface. How is the air moving at these wet areas? Oh, I just answered that. At these wet areas. So you'd want to look, again, This is where you have to look. Above the strip is here and here and here and here. You can see the air is rising here. Air is rising here. So the rising, sinking, neither rising nor sinking. Answer, rising. 7. Color the dry airs of the North Pole and South Pole purple. Color the dry airs, North and South Pole, purple. Do I have purple? Come on. Okay, I have like a light purple. Oh. These are my kids' colored pencils here. I have like light purple. What am I doing? Dry areas of the North and South Pole, purple. South Pole, dry areas here. Alright, so that area right there is dry. And then that area right there is dry. So this area on Earth at the North Pole is dry. South Pole is dry. But just really here, 7A, find it in the reference table. You do that. Write the page so you know where it is. You know it looks in the reference table. It's much smaller than this. Okay. 8. Multiple choice. Choose one from each set of italicized words. If Fred is standing at location A, the air overhead is. Okay, here's location A. Okay, let's look at this. The air overhead is rising, sinking, or not moving. So if this is Fred at A, what's the air overhead doing? Look at the arrows going up. It is rising. Okay, so it is rising, and this causes the climate of location A to be wet. Okay, so he's right here on Earth the way we're looking at it. So, answer should be rising, wet. 9. Multiple choice. Choose one from each set of italicized words. If Fred is standing at location B, the air overhead is rising, sinking, or not moving. Where's B? B, right here. Let's look. What's the air doing? Air overhead, is it rising, sinking, or not moving? It is definitely moving, and it's moving down. So here, it is sinking down onto Fred. So it should be sinking, and it's going to cause, look at the belt that he's on right here. This is a dry belt on Earth. This is 30 degrees south and 30 degrees north is where the major deserts are on Earth. And it's because of that sinking air. So the air is sinking and dry. You're going to see rising air leads to rain being wet. Sinking air leads to it being dry. We'll learn about that in class. 10. Multiple choice. Choose one from each set of italicized words. If Fred is standing at location C, same question. What's the air doing? And how's it going to cause the climate to be? Where's C? C's here. Okay? What's the air doing? Look, it is sinking onto him. It's caused this area to be dry. Sinking dry. (11) We live approximately at a latitude similar to location D. Winds push weather patterns and cause weather to come from what compass direction? Location D is right here. Okay? And for those, I will have you use this. It should answer 11 and 12 at location E. The weather comes from what compass direction? Here's E, and you're going to use the arrows on there. And F, the climate is wet, dry, or neither. And that you should be able to answer based on this. So, good luck with this. This is coloring of wind patterns. If you have questions, come see me. And I will do my best to explain it to you. Thanks for watching.